Bop, bop, bop. Let's go, baby. Geeks are back. Predictions, picks. We're back at the Apex. We've got a fight night between Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo. This is going to be a banger. We're going to run it down every single pick from the prelim card from the bottom to the top. Let's start it off with the first fight of the night. We are stepping out. We got Mike Jackson, 1-1, coming out against Pete Rodriguez, 4-1. Mike Jackson, 37-year-old. I don't even know if this guy really knows if he wants to fight, but he's here. He's fighting. He's 1-1. His last fight was against Dean Barry. He wins by disqualification and eye gouge. That was just like one of the funniest fights to watch. This guy is not the best. Pete Rodriguez, newcomer to UFC. He stepped in, took the JDM fight, which was a huge task to even just accept. He goes in there, gets splattered in round one. His nose got shattered. He's a tough guy. He throws hard overhands. He gets good knockouts. I'm going to take him over Mike Jackson, who I just feel is not good at any position, in the octagon at this level. I just think Pete Rodriguez is going to land a shot, and Mike Jackson's just going to kind of fall down. So give me Pete Rodriguez by finish, and we'll leave it at that. Now, not too much confidence in Pete Rodriguez. He hasn't shown us anything at this level, but he should get this done. What do you got, Goosey?
Kind of feeling the same way. Mike Jackson, UFC caliber, probably not. It's a good way to at least make sure that Pete Rodriguez belongs, because if he doesn't get it done, he's got to go. So I'm going to pick him in this. I think Pete Rodriguez, obviously he has the better MMA background. He's got better power, probably better grappling if he's been doing it. We haven't seen it in the UFC to this point, but I will have to assume that it's better than Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson, he's funny on Twitter. He's not really trying to be as an interesting Twitter. To go look it up. But yeah, I think Pete Rodriguez is going to knock him out.
Facts. What do you got, Dano?
I'm going to ride with Pete Rodriguez too. And you got to remember that they brought in Mike Jackson to fight with CM Punk way back when. So that just shows the caliber that he is. And he's definitely, like you said, I don't think UFC caliber. Pete Rodriguez is a young guy. He's going to be improving fight to fight. And then Jack Della Maddalena is the real deal. So I can't look too deep into that, but I'm going to ride with Pete on this one.
Let's go. Let's move right into the next boot. We have got CJ Vergara coming out against Tatsuro Taira. This is going to be a flyweight scrap. Tatsuro Taira is going to come out on the boards as -250 favorite. Vergara is +195. And I kind of love that. I kind of love CJ Vergara at the big underdog price, because Tatsuro Taira didn't really impress me in his last fight. They gave him Carlos Candelario. Rewatched that one back. He had plenty of opportunities to get finishes and really live up to the hype that was really coming in with him in that fight. And he kind of just, rode out a W. I don't think Candelario is anybody too special. I feel like Tatsuro Taira should have kind of put him away in a lot of positions that they were in that fight. I think CJ Vergara is a dog. And I think that, watching that fight back, Tatsuro did start to fade. And I think that CJ is kind of a guy that builds. So I think Vergara, fends a couple jiu-jitsu positions on the floor, might have to squeeze out of a couple spots, might lose a round. But I think he's going to come on strong at the end of this fight, win the last 2 rounds pretty convincingly. So give me CJ Vergara, underdog price. Let's get it. Dano, what do you got?
I like the Vergara dog pick, but just in who's going to win this fight, I think I'm going to go with Tatsuro. I think he's a stud. And like you said, he did have many opportunities to win his last fight, but someone in his camp's definitely got to tell him, step up the pace, get some finishes. He's a young kid, a lot of potential. I think that this would be a good fight for him, and I'm going to ride with him.
Let's go. What do you got, Goosey?
I'm going to pick CJ Vergara in this one. I think he's going to have the better stand-up, and he has a very good takedown defense and jiu-jitsu defense. If he's able to hold his own with Clayton Rodriguez like he was last fight, I think he'll be able to do the same with Tatsuro Taira. And to be honest, I think that Clayton Rodriguez is better than Tatsuro. So in this one, especially at pretty sizable underdog. I feel like he's got a lot of value on him in this one. I think he will be able to um, avoid a lot of the grappling and keep it on the feet where he should be putting it on Tyra. He has good power, but you can't bank on a knockout at flyweight. Those knockouts come few and far between, it feels like, and there's already a good amount of value on Vergara. So CJ Vergara to get it done.
Let's go. And we're moving into the next boot. We got a female scrap. Piera Rodriguez, 8-0, is going to come out against Sam Hughes, 7-4, familiar face. This is going to be a strawweight scrap. I'm going to take Piera Rodriguez in this bout just because Sam Hughes is just so unpredictable for me nowadays. I've taken her a couple times when she was a big underdog, and it feels right because, you know, she always does have a chance. But in this one, I'm going to ride Piera Rodriguez. She's got a lot of momentum on her side. She likes to wrestle. She's a tough gal. I think that she's going to stay undefeated in this matchup. Not too much thought in this, not too much money on the line here. Definitely just going to watch this one, but my stand away pick is going to be Piera Rodriguez. What do you got, Dano?
I'm right there with you. I can't trust Sam Hughes, and Rodriguez got a lot of momentum coming in this fight, and there's some people, especially on Twitter, hyping her up. People who know, like UFC caliber fighters, people who've seen fighters, they like her. They say that she's going to be pretty good. So I'm going to ride with her too.
Yeah, and she's only minus 190. Sam Hughes coming back at plus 155. So not the craziest dog pick. Usually, you know, we like these value picks and these female boots, but this one, I feel like the value's still on Piera. What do you think, Goosey?
I think the same. I was noticing a trend of Sam Hughes, whoever won the grappling exchanges and got the most takedowns in her fights tends to win. Early on in her career, she was getting taken down. Her last two fights, she's had pretty favorable matchups. You know, she's a pretty smaller girl. She was fighting smaller women. Pierre Rodriguez is a little bit bigger. I think that will help her get the better end of these grappling exchanges. And I think that Pierre Rodriguez will get the win.
Let's go. We're moving right into the next boot. This one's an absolute scrap and a half. We have got a bantamweight banger. Rafael Assunção, 27-9 Brazilian, vet in the game, well-known OG, coming out against new UFC talent, Victor Henry, a Geeks Chat alum, stellar dude, 22-5. Just got into the UFC. This guy is making ripples. Just fought Rayoni Barcelos in his debut, outclassed him for 3 rounds. Insanity. Just watching Rayoni Barcelos, what he did to Trevin Jones a couple weeks back. Victor Henry is levels above a lot of these guys, and he's on a hot streak right now. Rafael Assunção coming off a whole bunch of L's. He's been knocked out bad. Can't forget the Cody Garbrandt knockout at the bell. I mean, that's just a devastating splatter. It's hard to come back from that. He's not the youngest guy. Neither is Victor Henry, but Victor Henry just seems like he's got more juice in the tank at this point in his career. It seems like he's really floating at a point where it's like he's a couple wins away from some serious talks. And Assunção's kind of just in here floating around, you know, fighting to stick around. So I'm going to take Victor Henry to kind of outclass him in this. I mean, anywhere this fight goes, Victor Henry's going to have the jits, he's going to have the wrestling, and he's going to have the stand-up. So I'm all over Victor Henry. This is one of my most confident plays of the week. Give me Victor Henry by decision. Lock it in. What do you got, Goosey?
Like you said, Geeks Chat alum, Victor Henry, great combo. Go back, look it up. And while I'm plugging our stuff, hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know, we're out here every week. But going into it, I think Victor Henry gets it done. That's bias aside, because if I had to pick 3 attributes to beat Rafael Assunção, it would be push a good pace because he gasses out, have a good chin because he has power, have good grappling defense. Victor Henry, all 3 of those things, it's a good recipe. I think he gets it done. That being said, Rafael Assunção is dangerous, but latter end of his career, I think Victor's on the way up, Rafael's on the way down. It feels right. Give me Victor Henry in this one.
Let's go. Dano, what do you got?
I really like Victor Henry in this one for all the reasons you guys have said. But if I was him, I would be thinking, you know, I'm sitting pretty right now. I went in, debuted against Ronnie Barcelos, beat him in the stand-up game. We just saw Ronnie Barcelos dominate Trevin Giles in the stand-up game. He was looking good. So the more Barcelos looks good, the more that win looks better for Victor Henry. And then on the flip side, we got a 40-year-old. You know, I know Victor Henry's not the youngest, but Sun Sao, I believe, is 40 years old, coming off a lot of KO losses, at least a few. I think this is a good one for Henry. I don't know about decision. I'd love to see him because, like we've been saying, Sun Sao has been losing by TKO and KO, so it could happen. You know, the body could start not being what it was for a Sun Sao, and I just think there's a really good spot for Victor Henry, so I'm definitely riding with him.
Let's go.
Parlay piece.
Parlay piece. He is minus 345. A Sun Sao comes back at plus 260. You can argue that a Sun Sao has value at plus 260 because he is a vet in the game. But like we just covered, Victor Henry should be all over this matchup. We're all over it. We're moving into the next bout. This is another banger. This is a low-key card, man. I mean, I know they got this, main event having everyone throwing question marks up in the air, but there's some hidden gems on here, for us hardcore MMA fans. Let's move into the next one. We got Nick Maximov coming out against Jacob Malkoun. This is going to be a middleweight scrap. And these are both just bear wrestling jiu-jitsu fucks. Like, these guys want to, hold you and squeeze the shit out of you. That's what these guys want to do. And at the end of the day, I watched a bunch of tape on both these guys, and I'm like, who's got the better grappling? Who's got the better blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking, and I'm like, who's bigger? And you know what, man? If you're not bigger than Maximov, more times than not, he's going to have his way with you. And he's going to have a 3-inch height advantage. He cuts a lot of weight to get to this weight class. I think that he's going to expose Malkoun in the wrestling department, and he's going to get a sub off. So I think Maximov, maybe a decision will play too, but a late sub does also work. I mean, I would say Nick Maximov by decision's my final pick, but I'll probably have a couple dabbled on the sub because I think that size plays a massive factor in this fight. So give me Nate Diaz Army. I'm riding it this weekend. Let's go, Goosey. What do you got?
Yeah, starting off like you said, this is a battle of guys that have top tier training partners in the UFC. For Maximov, he trains with that Nick Diaz Army. He's out there in Stockton. And then Jacob Malkoun, he's actually training with Robert Whitaker. And he does get hype. He has very strong wrestling, but he is not Robert Whitaker. The stand-up doesn't even resemble that gym, to be honest. I think on the feet, he's more trying to get inside where he can grapple you. Maximov too, but I know Maximov's constantly evolving. His striking, his grappling is very technical. He has good jiu-jitsu and wrestling that he can mix up. And I think he pushed at a better pace. We saw Malkoun really start to gas out against Brendan Allen last fight. Nick Maximov, like those guys in the Nick Diaz Army, they really push a pace and grind you out for 3 rounds. I think even if he's not winning early, he will win late, but I expect him to win early as well. So I could see a late finish for Maximov. I could also see like a 30-27 pretty dominant performance. So either way, give me Nick in this one.
Yep, and Maximov's going to come out minus 145. Malkoun is plus 120. Malkoun's a dog, though. I mean, we're not going to sit out here and say he's a dud, but match styles make matchups. What do you got, Dano?
Yeah, Malkoun is a dog, but he's also just like a weird fighter in the sense that he gets probably four to six takedowns per fight, but he's throwing up double-digit takedown attempts every fight. So he's always looking for that takedown attempt. But then you look over at Maximov, and he's one of those guys who I think thrives on the ground. So he's not going to be afraid to go down on the ground with Malkoun. And he's going to be able to stay on the feet with him. We saw Maximov fight Punahele Soriano. Really good fight, and Punahele was pretty good on the feet, so he held his own there. And then like you guys are saying with Maximov's camp, we saw Nate Diaz get that win a few weeks ago, so that camp's going to be in high spirits. He's going to come out trying to get the dub. He did get a weird loss against Petrosky, which I did predict that one. I'm going to hang my hat on that one. But he's going to be trying to get that one back. He's a young kid. He's going to be hungry, always improving. I like Maximov in this one.
Yeah, and I also think that Petrosky's submission skills are going to reign way higher than Malkoun's. He's a lot longer, a lot easier to latch onto things. Malkoun's kind of a brick built like a box. So we are going to move on to the next one. We are into the featured bout of the prelims. Not too many fights going down. Short and sweet. Joe Anderson Brito finds a late replacement. He gets Lucas Alexander to make his UFC debut, I believe. Joe Anderson Brito is an absolute unit, and he's 13-3-1. This guy comes out like you owe him lunch money. Like he's taking your lunch money straight up. That's how he comes out. Like he's blows the barn doors off the fucking place. If you can survive round one with Brito, it's impressive, honestly. And I don't think Lucas Alexander's up for it. I look back at his record. I look back at his res. This guy's making him his he's getting W's, 3-2 opponents, 2-2 opponents, guys that don't even have more than 6-7 wins. They got multiple losses. It's regional scene. You don't come from the regional scene and mess with a guy like Joe Anderson Brito. It just doesn't work. You got to be some kind of special talent. Lucas Alexander, I wish you the best, brother. Go do it, man. But I'm all over Joe Anderson Brito in this matchup. He's known he's had this fight for a long time. They put him in the featured spot. They know he's full of fucking nonsense. Watch out for Brito. What do you got, Dano?
I'm riding with Brito too in this one, and he just beat Andre Feely either last fight or a couple fights ago. Spun him like a top, knocked him out, and then we saw Andre Feely just bounce back against Bill Algeo. So the high caliberness is there for Brito. He's good on the feet. And then we just saw this happen with Sadiq Youssef in this past card, where it was Sadiq Youssef versus Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze fell out. No one could step up, so they went to the regional scene and got someone to fight Sadiq Youssef. Not really supposed to be there, not the highest caliber. And Sadiq Youssef put it on him and beat him in the first round. I think that's how this is going to go. The guy off the regional scene coming in late against Joe Anderson Brito, who is a stud. I believe Brito's going to get it done, and I believe it's going to be inside distance.
Yeah, don't think too much about that one. Hit the round one knockout. It's coming. That's where the value's at. Those are the picks and predictions, all the prelims for the fights on Saturday. Catch the next video for the main card. We're in and we're out. Like and subscribe. Hit the Instagram, Twitter, Discord. There's more shit. TikTok. All right. Peace out.